I am going to start my timer. Hello, beautiful children of China. It's your teacher, Timothy. Time to get the cobwebs out of your mind. Time to learn something new. Just me and you. All right? Now, oftentimes, I light a candle right here, but I don't, my candle, I've done many lessons lately and I need to go buy a new candle. So there's no candle today, but I am going to call out for my friend George. George! 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 Oh, where did you come from, George? George is here. Now we can begin, because when George is here, then our lessons can start. George, say hello. George is very quiet. George, say hello. Okay, good. So George is here. He's standing right. Hi there, George. Good to have you here. Now, today we get to learn something very special. We get to learn more about time. Time, ready? Time, like a clock, right? But what does this come from? What does that come from? Long, long ago, there was something called a sundial. And it was something that, see, I'm outside here. It was something that people would put out in the sunshine, and it would show with a shadow where the sun was in the sky, and it would tell what time it was of the day. And that sundial would go around across. It didn't make any noises. It didn't go, it didn't do that. No, the sun travels across the sky silently. So, but on the ground, the sundial would make a beautiful arc, and it's the same one that people have on their wristwatch. It goes around, doesn't it? The time moves across, and it comes from the sun. Can you believe it? Time comes from the sun and marking the sun. I love that time comes from the sun. I want to talk for 5 hours about how time comes from the sun, but we don't have that today. We only have 30 minutes, a half hour. So just a little bit of time that comes from the sun we have together. Right, George? Now, George has a wristwatch right here in his pocket. You can't quite see his wrist there, but he has a wristwatch there. He can tell the time by looking at that. I oftentimes use my phone now to tell the time. Do you see the time on there? Can you? There it is. See it? There's the time. It tells me the time. So there are different ways to tell time now, but they all come from the sun. So we're going to talk about some of those things, like, for example, 1 second is about this long. One, done. That's 1 second. So in English, we might count, when we count a second, the right thing to say is 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. And don't worry about the 1,000 part. It just holds space, so it's about a second long, that word, 1,000. So you say 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000. That's about 5 seconds, right? A second is a very short, remember our other story when it was like about as long as a hiccup? And how many seconds? 60 seconds makes it makes a minute, doesn't it? 60 seconds makes a minute. 60 minutes makes it an hour. An hour. Seconds, minutes, hours, then what comes? A day, right? Right. And how many days? Then 7 days make up 1 week. You are correct. So let's kind of write some of these things out. I love typing some of these things. What is going on here? I think we're in good shape, right? Yeah, we're good with that. And now we can type some of these things. And I think our color should be kind of a nice yellow. Let's make a nice yellow color. Here we go. So we have a second, seconds, right? And then we have minutes, because 60 seconds makes a minute, and 60 minutes makes you are correct, an hour. And 24 hours makes a day. And 7 days makes a week, right? And how there, then the next one up, it's like 4 weeks approximately makes a month, right? So what are we talking about here? And how many months makes a year? Do you remember? Right. And after a year, then we talk about decades, that's 10 years. We talk about centuries, that's 100 years. We talk a millennium, that's 1,000 years, right? But these are all things that help us to talk about time. Time. And here we have a clock, right? I'm going to make my picture smaller now. Wait, come on. Okay, good. Here is some time. Can you see me drawing with the yellow? I don't know if it's good yellow. Let's go darker here. Yeah, maybe that's good. These clock hands go around, click, 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 click. And this is the little hour hand. This is the one that in the old sundials was there relying on the sun. These are different kinds of clocks. This is a small alarm clock right here. It goes around and around. This is clockwise. That's the way a hand goes. And then this is an old grandfather clock. It's a big, they call it a grandfather clock, probably because it stands like a grandfather, like a person almost, with a big head. And the hands, the clock hands go around just like that. Grandfather clock. What else? What other clocks do we have? What other kinds of clocks do we have? Oh, well, this is a digital clock. This is very common now. It's a little bit more like the one on my phone, right? This one right here. 6 o'clock, it says. And that's a digital clock. It just tells me the number. It doesn't tell us about the sun at all. It's just a number. But that's very common now. Now, the thing that I want to talk about with clocks, we talked about seconds and minutes and hours and days and weeks and months and years. We talked about all of that. But what does that help, right? What does that have? We have a few words that I want to write down. We already wrote down those words. I'd like to write down some more words. These are the most important words for our lesson today. This one right here. Can you say that word? Can you say it? Schedule. A schedule. Can you say it again? Schedule, right? Here's another word. Can you say this? Weekend. A weekend. Weekend. We'll learn what these things are. Here's another word. Occasion. Occasion. Say it with me. Occasion. An occasion. And we have 2 more words. Here's one right here. Can you say that word? Calendar. A calendar. Well, what's that? We'll find out. A calendar. And the last important word for this lesson is this one. Oh, it's kind of a long one. Good. Let's bring these out where we can really see them. Yep, here we have it. a schedule, weekend, occasion, calendar, and the last one, can you try to say it with me? Immediately. Immediately. These are our words today that we're going to use over and over again in this lesson so that we can also learn these words. And I wonder if I can change that. Nope, didn't let me. Nope, didn't let me. So we'll just make sure that it's in a spot where we can really read it. Good. Well, so those are our words. The first word we're going to talk about is schedule. A schedule. Schedule here, this word right there. Schedule is something that we do with time. And if I have a schedule for the day, then I say, oh, wait a minute. I need to write down what's happening at 7 o'clock. Oh, 7 o'clock we wake up. And then at 9:30, we leave for school. And at noon, 12 noon, that's when lunch is. And the schedule also says that school is over at 4 o'clock. And then we're going to go to a baseball game at 7 o'clock. And that means you're going to have to get right to bed after the baseball game at 10 o'clock. That's the schedule for the day. A schedule. It tells us how to get through the day. So that's an important word. Sometimes people have a schedule, a planner like this. Sometimes they have a book and the schedule says, oh, at 1 o'clock, we're going to have a singing time. Oh, good. That's the schedule, right? The next thing that I want to say, we're going to hold off on weekend and occasion, but let's talk a little bit more about schedules. Do you have a schedule? Sometimes people at their house have a schedule pinned on the wall like this. George, do you have something on the wall that you can walk by and you can look at it? It'll say the schedule for the day. There are other words for that too that we're going to talk about. But this one right now is schedule. The schedule for the day. What is the schedule for the day? Oh, it's breakfast time. Wonderful. Okay, so the word schedule. We're going to go on a little bit. These are our clocks. Goodbye, clocks. Goodbye, clocks. And we'll move some of our words over here where we can really see them. That's a good spot. And let's move this one around where we can really see it. Yeah, that's a good spot. So, you can see that part of what we do with time is that we have time where we work hard on weekdays, usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Those are the weekdays, right? So let me write those. Those are important that you know. And I'm going to put those in a special color. I think I'll put those in this kind of a light blue color. These are weekdays. Weekdays. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Those are weekdays. The part where most people are working during those days. Those are working days, right? And then you might find that on the weekend, these are the days of the weekend. Saturday and Sunday. Those are our 7 days of the week right there. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday are the weekend, right? Do you remember this? This is the weekend, and here is the word weekend right there. There's the weekend. Those 2 days are considered the weekend. And these 5 days are considered the week or the weekdays. And on the weekend, what do people do? Well, they don't usually work. And so they go with the whole family. You might go on a big bike ride like this guy right here. Check this guy out right here. This guy is riding a bike with his son, and it looks like with his wife, and it looks like this other boy here. Maybe this woman that has 2 sons and a husband right there. Yep, there they are. And they go out on the weekend and they ride their bikes on the weekend because they have time together. It's a very special occasion on the weekend. Many families treat it as a special occasion. Did you hear that secret word I just said? Many families treat it as a special occasion. If they go out, if they go to the movies, if they go down by the river and go swimming in a lake, they might go out looking at birds. They might go up into the mountains and go skiing. They might go sledding. They might build a fire and sit around and tell stories. It's a special occasion if they're all together, if they choose to make a special occasion on the weekend. But the weekend is always coming at the end of the week, right? Now the weekdays, right? These 5 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, during those days, you're in school, like this girl. And she is doing her math. And she is doing her writing. And your mom might be at work too. Your dad might be at work too on the weekdays. Usually we work on the weekdays and we have the weekends to ourselves to do something special, a special occasion of some kind, right? So that's important. I'm going to just take this away and I'm going to say, like, can you point to the weekdays? Point to the weekdays. Yep, this is the weekdays. Point to the weekend. Good. Point to the word occasion. Oh, over here. Point to the word schedule. Remember our daily schedule? Point to the word weekend. Right. Point to the word weekdays. Oh, that was a trick question. There is no word weekdays. I did not write that one. Okay, so we have all these beautiful words. How to get through the day with our clocks. And we have the weekdays where we're in school. We have the weekends where we might do some special occasion with our families. So that's what this beautiful page. See, this girl's working hard in school. This boy's bicycling very hard. What's next? What is our next part of this story here? Oh, I know what this is. Look at all these things that we're doing. But what is this thing right here? What is this thing? I am going to move a few of these things around. Just move some of these words around. Good. So we've talked about the seconds and the minutes and the hours and the days and the weeks and the months and the years. That's really what we're talking about here. This right here, can you guess what this is? Maybe you already know what this is. Maybe you already know, but it's one of our words. In fact, it's the next word. This right here is a calendar. A calendar. Now, a calendar is like a big schedule. A calendar shows a whole month at a time. Sometimes a calendar shows a whole year at a time. There are different kinds of calendars, but it's a way that we can look ahead or we can look behind and see what's going to happen or what has happened, last week, or we can find out what's happening today on our calendar. For example, let's look at this calendar right here. This is the middle of winter because it says February. Right here, it says February. That's a winter month in Minnesota anyway. Now, here's the first day of February. There's nothing happening. The second day of February, the weekday, is a Thursday. Hey, we're going to go to the dentist, get our teeth fixed, right? And nothing here, nothing. Oh, look, on the 7th day of February, we have what? Piano lessons. On the 11th day of February, we have an art class. And on the 12th day, an art class. In fact, these two, it's a Saturday, right? And it's a Sunday. So that art class is on the, oh, good, you said it, the weekend up here. Remember? So this is what you do with a calendar. You write out the things that are going to happen that you have to remember. And here's a calendar. It tells a whole month. This is telling the whole month of February. February. It's hard to say that word. February. February. Yep. Let's say it together because it's even hard for me, and I speak English all the time. It's kind of in three parts. Feb, ru, airy. Say it with me. February. But a lot of people say it very quickly, February, and they say February, but that's not right. February, it's February. So you can decide. If you want to say it fast, you say February, February, or you can say February. February is a little more right. It's a little more proper. So this is a calendar, and it's cool to see a calendar like this. How cool is that? And we have all the months of the year with a calendar, don't we? We have, like maybe you know the months of the year. They go January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, and then it starts again with January. How many months in a year? That's 1 year. Well, there are 12 months, 10 plus 2, 12 months of the year. 12 months make a year, right? We talked about that. So this is so cool. This is the calendar. It's very important that you know about calendars if you're going to talk to people about, you know, there are other measurements. They have a card here with a recipe on it where they measure, we're measuring time today. You can also look over here and you can measure things so that you're cooking, like flour and sugar. That's so strange that they have that there, but it shows different ways of measuring things. We are measuring time today. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about here today, let me move these things around so that we can really see them well. I kind of think this one might look really good right about there. And the weekend, let's move the weekend down here with its friends, the weekdays. Oh, and this one can move right over there. That looks good. And these words can come right over here. That looks pretty good. Okay, I hope you can see it the way that I see it. Now we're going to talk a little bit about something that's important. The seasons, right? The seasons of the year. And we're going to use this word right here. I'm not going to say it, but I want you to listen for this word, this big word. Maybe you remember how to say it. But our seasons, the four seasons of the year, this is another way to talk about the year. It has 12 months, but the seasons are the spring, the summer, the fall, and the winter. The spring, the summer, the fall, and the winter. Now, when we get to a new month, that's not the same as the seasons. When we get to a new month, like February, that's not the same as the seasons, because when it ends, when January ends, February begins immediately. It starts right at midnight on February 1st. It starts immediately. But the seasons, the winter season, slowly goes into the spring. And the spring season goes for a couple of months and slowly turns into the summer. Someone might say, oh, finally it feels like summer. The season is finally here of summer. Of course, on the calendar, it says the first day of summer, but that doesn't really count. I think you gotta feel the wind and feel how warm it is. Whew, it is getting warm in here. It's really summertime. I can't wear this big old shirt anymore because it's summer, right? The seasons do not come immediately. The months do. All of a sudden, it's February. All of a sudden, it's March. All of a sudden, it's April. All of a sudden, it's May. It's very clear on the calendar. But the seasons come when the weather comes, not immediately. The seasons are not immediate. The seasons come whenever they're ready to come. So the 4 seasons, let's talk about them a little bit more now that we've talked about the word immediately. In the springtime, here, these children are running, and the spring is the spring. They're running, and they're so happy to be out of the house because winter is finally over. And then slowly the spring starts to get warmer and warmer and warmer, and it turns into summer. Yes, it does. And you can wear shorts like these little shorts. You can wear shorts like these little shorts. You can wear shorts like these little shorts. You can have bare feet in the summer. Bare feet, no shoes. Oh my gosh. And especially you can go to the beach and you can go swimming. You can wear little goggles on your eyes because you like to go swimming. Oh my gosh. Yeah, summer is fun. It's a good time to go swimming in the lake. And the summer slowly changes into the fall, doesn't it? It slowly changes into the fall. The fall is a great time. I'm going to take a look at this now. Yeah, the fall. The fall is a time where I think that the fall, it's talking about all those leaves falling down. All of those leaves come falling down out of the trees here. They fall, look at all these leaves, and children and grown-ups like to play in those leaves. And all the leaves fall off because it's getting cold, and slowly, not immediately, slowly it gets so cold, and pretty soon one day you say, I think the winter is finally here. Sometimes at our school we say, I think King Winter has finally walked in to our yard. You know why? Because the snow is there and it's very cold, and you have to wear boots on your feet. Look at these boots right here. You can't have bare feet, not in the winter. You have to wear hats on your head to keep your heads warm. You have to wear mittens on your hands like this because it's so freaking cold, especially in Minnesota. So the winter is a very cold time, and slowly the winter goes on, and the season starts to change. And after the winter, do you know what happens? Guess what? We're back up here in the spring, aren't we? And it goes round and round the calendar, around the whole year. So we have had quite a good lesson today of talking about some words here. Let's bring these words back down and just go through them. Would you try to say them right before I say them here? These 5 words are important for our talk today. Schedule, weekend, occasion, calendar, immediately, right? And these are our weekdays. Say it, please. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then our weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And after Sunday comes Monday again, and it goes around and around and around. Yep, those are our words. So what a good, important lesson. If you want to if you want to get to school on time, if you want to go to a movie and get there on time, if you have an appointment where you're going to drink a little bit of water or some tea with a friend and you have to check the time, these are important. And maybe you call on the phone and you say, hello, let's meet next Wednesday. Well, what day is that? Oh, yeah, next Wednesday is, I think it's like the 4th of September. Well, let's meet that day. And so you know how to talk about time on the clock and on the calendar so that you can schedule special occasions with friends and work. Okay? So that comes to the end of our lesson. This is Timothy, your teacher, signing off Thank you for a good lesson. Now I'm happier. You are smarter, and the whole world is a little bit smaller. Take care. I'm going to say goodbye now. All the best. Cheerio.